we went overseas. We went to a bunch of countries where you could get life in prison for having it.
Several countries.
Yeah, and I had like over a pound with me because I didn't want to be without it. All right.
What's up?
All right, we're finally checking out the song Sober by Tom MacDonald, Mad Child, and Nova Rockefeller. We've never heard Mad Child. We've heard Tom MacDonald and Nova Rockefeller. This is our first time hearing Mad Child. Let's get into it.
What up, y'all? My name's Tom. Little while back was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin. Damn. After the hooker I loved. After I did all the drugs. After I finally got fired for showing up late to the job, hella tired and drunk. After the oxys, I put up my nose with my boss on the oil rigs.
Tom's been through a lot.
Yeah. I didn't know he was in AA.
I didn't know either, but we knew he was alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he's clean now. But I didn't know he was into hookers. Did I hear that after the hooker I loved?
Wait. What? I missed
Wait, you
it.
didn't
We
hear
need to
that?
go. Yeah, I
Run it
derped,
back.
I guess. I mean, it was that shocking.
I mean, it's nice that he can be open about it and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that helps a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know. That's why we're on the Tom MacDonald journey. You know, we're going into the rabbit hole learning.
Right.
After the hooker I loved, after I did all the drugs, after I finally got fired for showing up late to the job, hella tired and drunk. After the oxys, I put up my nose with my boss on the oil rigs when I was young. After my ex cut her wrists and the cops thought I stabbed her and beat me, then put me in cuffs. After I totaled my car trying to run from the cops with a kilo of coke in the trunk. After I drank till I rotted my teeth on my head, got infections in all of my gums. After I couldn't get hard cause the vodka and porno sedated me till I was numb. After I couldn't escape from the basement I rented and went to go live with my mom. After I cheated on people I needed and lied trying to hide from the guy that I was. Then I got sober, the madness was over. Now I am proud of the man I become, yeah. I'm finding someone that I know again. I started climbing out the hole I'm in. Fighting demons and I know I'll win. It's time for me to mend these broken wings. Life has been hard, I know it gets better. This is a war that I'll fight forever.
Okay.
Man, that is wow.
I have a
Tom has
lot
been
to
through
say on
some
this.
things. Okay, what you got?
Yeah. For one, I love their interpretive dance moves. Like that was just like a dance break that I wasn't expecting, but Nova's so passionate when she's like performing. And so it just added a whole other layer. And Tom is already like so serious, like this is my story, this is what happened. So I mean, I don't know, it's a beautiful combination, you know what I mean?
I wonder if this song was like hard for him to make, like to put all that out there, like everything that he's
Right.
been through.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wonder if it was hard. Tom just like doesn't care. Like, oh, this is my story. Boom. Like it was easy for him. I feel like that would be a hard thing to share.
Right.
I mean, that was a lot of personal
Because he said his
information.
teeth rotted and got infected. And
It was a lot of personal information.
he had to move into his parents' house. And
Like that story he said about the cops beat him while he was in cuffs because they said he stabbed his girlfriend or something. Like,
Yeah,
did
'cause
she
she,
say
like-
that and like frame him?
I
Or
guess.
did the cops
or
just like...
Yeah, it sounds to me like he said she like slit her wrist or something, and they thought he beat her up. That whole, I don't know, but the way it was
That's
framed was
crazy.
like,
I mean, he's
she
been
said
through some
about it.
things, but like being addicted to stuff will make you...
I feel like it makes you not care, and then you do things that like when you're in your normal caring state you wouldn't do. And so you're
Right.
just like in an effort kind of place, and then you do all this stuff that you're like, oh, why did I do that? That was really dumb. I'm gonna have to pay for that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it turns you into a shell of yourself, which is why in the hook is like, I finally like am a person, I know myself again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What up, y'all? My name's Mad Child. I've been off to Xannies for a while now. I was waking up feeling suicidal, but I think I'm finally starting to smile now. Man, I lived a hell of a life. I've been to hell and back twice. Lost $10 million, 3 different addictions. Don't tell me about paying the price. From penthouses with top models.
What?
Wow.
He said lost $10 million? Dang. Did he say 3 different addictions?
Yeah.
Okay, so Xanax was the first one.
Yeah.
Has he mentioned the other 2 yet?
I don't think so. It could,
Wow.
yeah, dang. His story's crazy.
Man, everyone has a story.
But see, that's
My
the thing. I
goodness.
feel like a lot of times when people get addicted to things, it's like, okay, society looks at them like, you're an addict, you know? But it's like there's a whole story that took that person all the way down.
Right, and a whole story to how they got on the substance in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
$10 million, 3 different addictions, don't tell me about paying the price. From penthouses with top models, hanging with strippers with pop bottles. You're anxious and hiding alone in my room from the world that was pissing in pop bottles. From chart top and being a role model to flop records and lost follows. When I cop product, got a month's worth. When I left the spot, cops followed. If you saw a photo, it was only face, cause I was 85 pounds overweight. Mental breakdown trying to catch a plane. Wasn't mad, child, I was only Shane. My puppy Lola was my only gang. Had to put my baby in a grave. I walked away from every brick I laid so I could build a new wall to keep me safe. I'm finding someone that
When he said he had to put his baby in an effing grave, was he talking about the dog?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Because it sounded like the dog was all he had. That was his baby, his puppy. Had to put the puppy in the grave. That's the way I interpret it, at least.
Okay, so AA, like, oh my gosh, this seems like nerve-wracking. Like, these meetings, like, part of it is, like, you go in and you sit there and you share all the pain that you've been holding in that, like, led you there. Oh my gosh.
In the end, he was talking about he has to rebuild his world, something about bricks and something. The way I interpret it is like he has to rebuild his world again. I feel like that's how it is after addiction or any kind of like
you're not
super low. It could be just like, it could be depression, not from addiction, any of that kind of stuff. It's like you really like, I feel like your whole brain chemistry changes and you have to rebuild yourself from scratch.
Yeah. Like you're not the same. The world around you is not the same. Like
it's like everything is so hard after that. So hard.
I started climbing out the hole I'm in, fighting demons and I know I'll win. It's time for me to mend these broken wings. Life has been hard, I know it gets better. This is a war that I'll fight forever. I have my scars, I'll always remember when I lost it all and never surrendered. When you fall down and the world's closing in, you can get up again, up again. Life has been hard, I know it gets better. This is a war that I'll fight forever. I have my scars, I'll always remember when I lost it all and never surrendered.
dang. I like that video.
Right? I feel like stuff like this helps so many people.
Right.
I mean, I can definitely relate to it. You know what I mean? I got like chills. Like, cause like back when I was like heavy on Kratom, whatever people want to call it, taking like 20 grams a day, like I could not function without it. It's like I became like a shell of myself. Like you know all about it. But yeah, just like laying in the bed all day, I didn't want to do it. I had no motivation. The only thing I want to do was take Kratom. If I didn't have it, I just like wanted to crawl out my skin, jump out a window. Like it was miserable. It was miserable. It like killed all my motivation for like to do anything. And like before that, I was so motivated. Like before that, I was in an e-com store and I was working in corporate America. I would stay up to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Preparing shipments and get up at 4 a.m. and go do a full work day. And it was like, I was excited to do it. I was good. You couldn't even tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, so I literally did nothing. Because I had my e-com store, quit corporate America, all that, you know, doing entrepreneurship. And I just started doing nothing. I transitioned to affiliate marketing and then just let my websites all die and just did nothing and laid in the bed all day. And then couldn't even sleep. So I did nothing and still, I had like insomnia.
Yeah. You didn't eat.
Yeah.
Like literally, you wouldn't eat.
Yeah, I was pretty skinny.
You were
Like
cranky all the time. all the time.
I don't know how you dealt with that. Like, I was literally like a shell of a person. I didn't do anything. Except be miserable and irritable all the time. Because then once you start taking so much, then it doesn't even hit the spot. Right. And so you never have enough to where you're
it's just like
good.
Maintenance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just maintenance to not feel like you're crawling out of your skin. But it's not like I have enough and I'm happy. You know what I mean? It was so miserable. That was years. And then so after that, I feel like your whole brain chemistry is different. And so then after getting off, it's like day by day, just like one brick at a time, slowly rebuilding yourself.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
But I was finna say like how I got on it was when I played football in college, fractured my sternum, and then I was working in corporate America. Like somehow it was killing my back. I fractured my sternum right where the collarbone and sternum meet. So I'm guessing it messed up my posture. Like sometimes you see like one shoulder is like lower than the other, like this shoulder is like lower than the other because it was on this side that I fractured it. But yeah, so then my back was killing me in corporate America. We went on vacation in Florida, tried at a kava bar, tried a Kratom kava mixed drink. It's like all my pain went away in my back. You know what I mean? So then ordered it straight from the source from Indonesia. Then started an e-com store with Kratom. Like that was my first business. And so I was taking it all the time and selling it. And it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. The next thing I knew, I was like, well, this is addictive. Because when I looked up, it said it's about the same addictiveness as coffee. Not true. It's like, oh, it's cool. I can take as much as I want. And then, oh, let's take a few days off. And it's like the day off, I'm so cranky. It's like, okay, I did a day off. I'm not addicted. And back on it, and then it's like, oh, the first day is not that bad, but the second day, oh my goodness. Yeah. And so like from there, it's like 4 or 5 years later, now I'm just now getting off of it. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I didn't get on it like, oh, I just want to take this stuff because it's fun. It's like, it was for pain relief. You know what I mean? But I didn't have health insurance after I quit corporate America, so I always would find things to self-medicate with. But yeah, and the next thing you know, you're just a shell of yourself. You just need the stuff to survive. It's like we went to Asia. I brought so much with me, and like you can get life in prison for having that stuff with you. And we went to several different countries. I mean, I don't know how I can say the countries, but we went overseas. We went to a bunch of countries where you could get life in prison for having it.
Several countries.
Yeah, and I had like over a pound with me because I didn't want to be without it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you would do crazy things just to have it. Like why would I risk my whole life just to have? You know what I mean? But it's like when you're in that mind state, you will do different things, and that's not even that bad of a substance. Right. I don't want to downplay it, but I don't want to make it seem like it's the same. It's
definitely more addictive than coffee because I got addicted with you. I would say it's very addictive, but also quantity matters because I didn't get addicted as you did.
Right, I was saying like 20 grams a
day.
day.
I think anything, if you have such a quantity that's so high, and it's even mildly addictive, will be very addictive. You know,
I feel like coffee's mild.
Coffee's mild.
It's more than mild, but it's not like a prescription substance. Like it's over the counter, you just buy it. So it's not anywhere near like what they went through and stuff with Xanax and things like that. It's nothing like that, but it is addictive enough that if you don't have it, you cannot function that well. Like you will feel like you literally just want to rip your skin off and hop off. It's like
it's literally like skin. What do they call it? Crawling. Like
I don't know what it's called.
It's like
it's miserable.
It's like you're tweaking. Like you literally like
you're like shivering.
It's
you're
the
just
weirdest feeling in the world. In a way, though, I'm kind of glad to have experienced it because growing up with my dad, who was an alcoholic, and then he was addicted to cigarettes and prescriptions. I don't know. He was always getting prescriptions and whatever. He got addicted to nicotine patches and he would put like several patches on. I just remember one time I saw him in that withdrawal, like skin crawling thing, right? And he's sitting there just like, like he's like tweaking and he's like, like making all these noises and stuff. And as a kid, I'm like, this is terrifying. Because it was like almost like involuntary flinching, you know, like withdrawals. And I'm glad to have experienced it now just to know what people go through.
Right, like it gives you a different perspective on what he went through.
Yeah, because if you've never been addicted and you've never been around an addict, it's very easy to be like, get your stuff together, you know, you're responsible for you, you're an adult, deal with your trauma, and you know, but once you try something, it's almost like if you have an addictive tendency or like too much pain that you just want to numb it, anything, that drug can suck you in, and before you know it, it's like you need it to just function. Like it's not even like you're taking it for pleasure anymore.
Man, I was on several things at once. I was on Kratom, Phenibut, and nicotine because I had a vaping website, so I would get free vaping stuff. So then I started vaping just because I had a website on vaping. I was just an affiliate marketer. I was just building websites, just building blogs. And so yeah, then with all 3 of those at once.
And a lot of times depression
In coffee, I
goes...
used to drink like 6 cups of coffee a day. So I was doing all that at once, and I couldn't feel anything, which is why I didn't do anything. I had no motivation because I couldn't feel anything.
And depression goes hand in hand with addiction. I don't think I've ever known
Right, I think that's what led to my depression. Like,
I don't think I've ever known somebody that was addicted that didn't also have depression paired with that addiction.
I think it comes because like your senses are just so different.
Yeah.
It's like she would ask me what I wanted to do or something. It's like, okay, go to the beach or go sit in the backyard and do nothing. Like those sound the same. They both sound like that's a lot of work to walk to the backyard. That's a lot of work to go to the beach and find parking. I just don't want to do anything. Like everything sounds the same. Like I just don't want to do
anything. It's a dangerous space because I think you start to lose touch with like Tom was saying, who you were before. Like literally you don't know who you are anymore. And so like for example, okay, my dad, like so pretty much my whole life, like me and my brother came later in his life. He had already had 2 kids and he'd been married before. Anyway, he had 2 kids die tragically. Like one of them got to be like 30, so I met him when I was a baby, and the other one died when he was like a little kid. When he was like 4, he got hit by a car. So my dad had this like life trauma that was like kicking him in the butt for like 20 years before I was born. And so, you know, that I think had him like down a whole path of like addiction, you know, depression, whatever. So by the time I met him, like my whole childhood, he was, you know, getting DWIs, he was crashing cars, he was in jail. Like one time I was like maybe 9 years old and I bailed him out of jail with my money in the bank. And like I called my granny, she was like, I'm not bailing him out again. I asked my mom, he can stay in jail, he needs to deal with himself, you know. And so I bailed him out with my money.
And it was like actually her money, not like allowance money. It was like money she earned from theater.
Yeah, I was like saving up my money, and I thought at the time as a kid, I was like, literally this is the best possible thing I can do with my money, like save my dad. It's just like I think on the outside of addiction, people understand, and especially the people that love you, like they want to help you.
I don't think they understand.
I think people that love you, that want to help you, understand.
I don't think they understand. They may want to help. I don't think I don't think it's something you can understand without going through some form of it.
You're right. But it's like there's
you know what I mean? It's like we can't really understand what it's like to be on Xans and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we have some degree of understanding just from going through lighter stuff that's similar. You know what I mean? But it's like someone who's been through none of it. How can you understand that? It's like just thinking of myself before and after. It's like there's no way me before could have understood that. No. Like no way.
Because otherwise you would never do it.
I would just stop doing it. That's irresponsible. Why do you take drugs? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people say that to stop doing it.
But I think the people closest are they don't understand, but they're sympathetic.
Yeah, I think sympathetic.
They'll be like understanding, I guess.
As best they can.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad used to have, so he was in AA twice. And honestly, I don't know how he didn't go to prison, because he definitely, like, he had maybe 3 or 4 DWIs. You know, he had to pay lots in fines and stuff, and he never went to prison. He had been in jail sometimes, but just never prison. But anyway, he had one of those breathalyzers in the car when I was maybe like 16. You remember that? And I borrowed his car one time when he had a breathalyzer. Like, basically, they put the breathalyzer machine in the car to where the engine, if you don't breathalyze, like, every 3 minutes while you're driving, then it, like, shuts the car off and you can't drive. So I borrowed his car when I was, like, 16. And I had to, like, breathalyze. Like, I'm sitting there, like, it's my breathalyzing machine, but if I want to drive it, that was what I had to do. It was just, like, very strange. And, like, I can only imagine what it's like. You're already depressed, you're already, very like going through things, which is why you turn to alcohol or whatever drug of choice. And then on top of that, you have to go to AA, and it's like humiliating to like tell this story of all the horrible things you've done that you regret, you know what I mean? And then you have to breathalyze, so like you're driving and the car next to you is like, why are they sucking on a tube every it's just like I feel for you. If you're going through some kind of addiction, man, I really, really am sending love, because.
So just to be clear about Kratom, I'm not anti-Kratom, because people they can use it, like, for good. Like, because I used to sell it. I used to sell to people who use it to get off of very hardcore opiates. It's definitely not as bad as that. So they can use it to wean off that kind of stuff. So I'm not anti it, just like when I first started taking it, I didn't know it was addictive. I didn't do enough research, I guess. What I did, the light research I did, said it was similar to coffee, same family, just as addictive as coffee. So I'm like, oh, it's not bad. But I think the information needs to be more clear with things like that.
And just like quantity, you know.
Right. If you knew it was addictive, you take it differently. So overall, what do you think of the song?
I think Tom makes some important music.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
really, I think he's one of those artists that is gonna be remembered for a long time.
I agree. I mean, this is like a conversation that needs to be had. I'm sure this is gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had this song
Right?
a few years ago, and I don't know when it came out. It probably did exist. I didn't even know about it.
Back when?
Oh, 2020.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it wasn't out when I was at my worst. But I would have loved to have had a song like this about coming in person that you recognize again, all this kind of stuff. Like, I feel like it would have been like motivation, you know?
Right. Somebody that been through it.
It made it through.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
way
even
worse
said-
than how I was down.
Right. Because that's the other thing. It's like once you start creating consequences from, like, you know, his teeth were rotting out, and like when you start having like the side effects of the addiction, that's even more. Like my dad used to feel so guilty on top of guilty on top of, you know what I mean? Starts to compound that stuff. It's horrible.
Yeah, drugs are crazy. And I used someone he had ED, basically. It's like I never had that. I've had NumbD. You know what I mean? You take 20 grams of kratom a day, you don't feel anything.
No, like if you take
Don't
5
feel it.
grams, you want to puke. Like it's really
Well, no, you get up to 20. You don't just, you know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, someone just flat out just took 5 grams. Yeah, that have fun with that. But
It's
it's like drugs just affect you in so many different ways. I didn't know that was gonna. I'm gonna be numbed. It's Mr. Numbness. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Just gotta be careful out here.
Right?
Stuff is, I mean, life is incredible. Like you can feel some crazy things, but you just have to, you know, be your own parent sometimes. I think.
There are a lot of slippery slopes everywhere. Everywhere.
The sidewalk is a slippery slope.
So I went to one kava bar, slippery slope.
Also,
the next 5 years.
Also, some of us have slipperier slopes than others. Okay.
Yeah.
some of us are more prone to slipping. Yes.
So that one decision at a kava bar took away all my pain. Led to like 5 years of misery.
We should have definitely sued them for that injury.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it's
It was my fracture of my sternum in college playing football. They told me it was a torn pec, and I never went to another doctor to get a second opinion.
so he played on it.
So I played the whole season. I did this the second game of the season.
So
I
it
played the whole
healed.
season, and it's like the joints. I couldn't even lift my arm. I'm playing cornerback. I'm like playing with one arm, but you know, it was crazy, and it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt to breathe. But I just played the whole season 'cause I wanted to play, and they said it was a torn pec. And so it didn't really heal right. And after the season, I went and got a second opinion, and they did I don't remember what they did. It wasn't just an X-ray. It was some other crap they did. I think a CAT scan they did, so I could see like the 3D image, and they're like, "Oh, it looks like you fractured your sternum, and it healed up, but it healed funny." It's like, oh, great.
All right, thanks guys for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, comment below your story or your thoughts. We would love to hear from you in the comments. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you were unsubscribed by YouTube, or if you haven't subscribed already, what you doing? We love you so much. And until next time, that's a wrap.
I don't know. Tell me, man, what do you know? What do you know? Me and my boys on the road. We to go. She told me, boy, you to go. Like, I don't know. But I don't know.